Que bueno, mi gente. It is Tuesday. It is Tuesday, and we are back. And by the way, I will be on D-Styles channel tonight, HCP, at 7 p.m. Central. So be locked in. Hit the alerts on D-Styles channel. We will be locked in with the HCP podcast tonight at 7 p.m. Central on D-Styles channel, talking all kind of things. I just wanted to get a quick one in today. We're going to do about 45 minutes today. Let's shoot for 45 minutes. Have a good show. And I'm going to go for peace today, but I can already see from the first comment, Chauncey's coming out shooting with that boring ass performance Shakur had last fight. I retired too. I feed off the energy of the chat. You already know me. The chat runs the channel, and I try to get the conversation started. Then I feed off the chat. We're going to feed off the chat. So if the chat wants war today, if they green light war, we'll have war. If the chat wants peace and they disagree with how Chauncey's just coming out shooting off the gate, off the jump, then we'll choose peace. But we'll see. We'll shoot for peace. But if war breaks out, then we'll have war. So shout out to Chauncey. Salute to Anthony Sanchez. Salute to Wheelchair Man John. Remy's in the building. Appreciate you always, Remy. Daniel Agnew. Me personally, I think Shakur is full of shit on that retirement talk. We all do, right? We all do. He's lashing out, and I'm gonna speak on why I think he said what he said last night. I think it's deeper than Navarrete getting a shot, which he's warranted for the title ahead of Shakur Stevenson, and we'll talk about why that is. But why I think it's a little deeper than that, and why I think fighters like Ryan and Shakur, this new age fighter coming up, this new age, and it's not just fighters, it's just the new age in general. And we did this. The generation before us, this generation, we're putting everybody in this bubble wrap, and we want to overprotect these kids, and we don't want kids yelled at. We need to talk to them calmly. We need to reason with them. We need to reason with children. You don't understand, like the old way of doing things doesn't work anymore. We need to reason with children. We need to get down to their level and talk to them eye to eye and reason with them and have conversations with them, because we just can't lash out and we can't talk down to them, and we can't treat children that way anymore. And it's gotten us, this is the byproduct of this. This is the end product of that. Look, just in boxing, the boxing world, it's a microcosm of that culture. They want to be told what they want to hear, not what they need to hear. And they're constantly pampered to, especially if they're talented. And I work in youth sports, so I know this. I see it every day. I see parents who don't want their kids properly coached to because they think it's too tough. They don't want their kids to go through that. They don't want it. They don't want it. And there are 3 traits for overachievers, and we're going to talk about that. And the parents of these kids, this generation of people just bubble wrapping these kids and bubble wrapping this generation coming up. It's stunning the growth of these kids. It's stunning the growth of this generation. And we're seeing it now in boxing. Everybody's telling these fighters what they want to hear, not what they need to hear. And that's why we're at where we're at. That's why Ryan Garcia is taking a mental health break a couple years ago, and why he's going on jogs with Floyd Mayweather, and he's too naive to realize that this dude does not have your best interest at heart. Why would Floyd pick you to go on a 3 a.m. jog with? Why would he pick you? Think. And I'm about to get to a clip about that. And Shakur's lashing out. I'm going to retire except for sparring, right? Except for in the gym. And that's going to be good news for his fans, right? Because a growing number of American boxing fans love sparring footage. Sparring is good enough. It's good enough. You beat this guy in sparring 12 years ago, so therefore you were better than that fighter. They love sparring footage. So the good news for them is we're still going to get Shakur Stevenson gym footage. That's great. Salute to you, Jesse. Riddance to Shakur. And Shakur's not going to like to hear that. Look, man, we had good things going. 11,000 in Newark, top 10 pound for pound rankings. And then, unfortunately, just like the Nakathila fight, he sneaks it out against De Los Santos. And he had an injured arm or whatever he had. That's fine. It's fine. But what he needs to realize is that's part of the process. And if you stink up the joint, This is how the market's going to react to it. It's about more than just being great. It's about entertaining, and we'll talk about that as well. We've always talked about that. It's about entertaining. The American market and American fighters have been brainwashed to think it's just about going out and cruising to a UD victory, and it's not. You need to touch the hearts and minds of the boxing fans. You need to get them emotionally invested in you. And Shakur Stevenson does not have people emotionally invested in him at this time. So Shakur Stevenson says he's going to retire. People are going to say, fine, bye. Bye. He's not going to like to hear that. But like I said, these dudes in their 20s in particular, they've been lied to, and it's not just boxers. This is in general across the market in America. Whether you're coming out of college, whether you're a basketball player, whether you're just a dude in the market, an engineer, whatever, you're coming into the marketplace, you need to realize that you've been lied to. You've been lied to. It's a cruel world. You are not special. You need to do, in order to be successful, you need to do, the blueprint has not changed. It takes focus. It takes hard work. It takes ignoring the noise. It takes tuning people out. It takes putting good people around you who are not going to lie to you. Yes men. And the more talented you are, the more yes men you're going to have around you. They're going to gravitate towards you because they see it easy come up. You got people around you lying to you. And that's why you are where you are. We have a growing number of fighters who are being told by managers, look, we're just going to keep you comfortable. Just relax. Just relax. Low risk, high rewards, the new model. We're going to give you easy fights for this amount of money. Don't worry about that. I know the fans are stupid. Don't worry about the fans. Stop listening to the fans. Listen to me. I'm the manager. I know better. They don't know what we go through. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you this easy fight and this easy fight and this easy fight for this minimum, right? And you're going to take that. You're going to take that. And we're going to go over here and get the bag. Just worry about getting the bag. Don't worry about legacy. You cannot feed your kids with legacy. Didn't you hear Floyd? You cannot feed your kids with legacy. So let's get the bag. Let's get an easy bag. And what they don't realize is nobody gets emotionally invested in them. What they don't realize is Tank and Ryan, up to this point, have been the exception to the rule. Jake Paul even realized that. Jake Paul realized, I can't do this scam forever. People are going to tap out. And they did. Now he wants to fight from the bottom up, starting with real fights, right? Tank and Ryan hit the jackpot last year, but that's the exception to the rule. It's the exception. What these dudes are going to learn is the market's going to get bored with that, and they're going to have to come out and fight real fights. They've been lied to. And what they also realize is they haven't reached their potential, what they could be seeing monetarily. Everybody focuses on what they say they did, 1.2, whatever they did in the box office, right? And 50,000 up to 200,000 in pay-per-view buys. And I'm a pay-per-view fighter, right? But what they don't realize, what Tank doesn't realize is if it wasn't for Floyd or Leonard, I would be even a bigger star. I would be even bigger of a star if I didn't have those people around me telling me what I want to hear, not what I need to hear. This generation, man, I feel bad for him. I feel very bad for him. And I try to raise my kids the opposite way. Tell them what they need to hear and surround them by people who will tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. I'm not going to put them in bubble wrap. I'm going to seek out people who are going to be tough on them. I'm going to seek out teachers. I'm going to seek out a homeschool co-op with tough teachers who are going to teach them a certain way. That's tough. And I'm going to seek out sport coaches who are going to coach them tough. And if it looks like they're burning out, we'll reel it back in. But other than that, I'm getting them out of this bubble wrap. And they're going to have less competition in the market because young boys in particular are being castrated, not literally, but figuratively. So they're going to have less competition in the market. So if they just put their head down and go to work, they're going to win. They're going to win. We're going to talk about this with Benavidez because Benavidez has a golden opportunity here. There's a 3-point plan that Benavidez that I would suggest he takes right now if it looks like Canelo's not going to fight him in 2024. 3-point plan, and I think it would be successful for him. But unfortunately, his rabid fan base, that fringe fan base, will advise him against this. And they may have good intentions, but once again, they're handicapping him. They're going to advise him against that. This guy, Calix, he's been destroying you this whole time. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him, because if you listen to him, he just wants you to lose. And of course, that's not the case. They're going to advise him against a successful blueprint. I'm telling you, they're going to do it. Shakur wanted to fight giving to Navarrete. Yeah, and I think it goes a little deeper than that, Remy. I'm going to get to that in a minute. First, let's hit on this Ryan thing. Pause. Hold on one second. Let me share screen here. Let's go here and share. And shout out to my guy, Unbiased Brim, a.k.a. the Arkansas Unbiased Fan Brim. And if you are on X or Twitter, go follow him. He's a real one. Go follow him. But let's hit the play button on this. And I want you to hear, this is Ryan Garcia with Fight Hype. And he's speaking about, just to set it up, his encounter, his 3 a.m. encounter with Floyd Mayweather in the jog.
That fight, because of the people voted, and you should get what you voted for. Long story short, I'm in Vegas. I'm having a great time. I'm hanging out with Floyd. I'm not going to lie. Floyd's pretty influential. He's like, why would he do that? Why don't you fight Rolly for the belt and then fight Devin Haney? Gave me advice. I said, that makes pretty much sense. I said, but I told the people already I'm going to fight Devin. He said, some things change. I said,
he said, the hell with the people.
Is what he said.
Yeah, basically.
I'm paraphrasing here. It's a lot deeper than that, and there was a lot more conversation, but
yeah,
I'm going to save that. And then I made a quick decision to be like, okay, all right, Floyd, that makes sense. I'll go get another belt. I'll go get the WBO belt, which I was down to do. That fight, because of the people voted, and you should get what you voted for. Long story short, I'm in Vegas. I'm having a great time. I'm hanging out with Floyd. I'm not going to lie. Floyd's pretty influential. He's like, why would he do that? Why don't you fight Rolly for the belt and then fight Devin Haney? Gave me advice. I said, that makes pretty much sense. I said, but I told the people already I'm going to fight Devin. He said, some things change. I said, okay, basically is what he said. I'm paraphrasing here. It's a lot deeper than that, and there was a lot more conversation, but I'm going to save that. And then I made a quick decision to be like, okay, all right, Floyd, that makes sense. I'll go get another belt. I'll go get the WBO belt, which I was down to do. That
some things change. Some things change. Hold on, let me get that out of there. Some things change, Floyd told him. Some things change. I'm sure. And what Floyd's really telling him is, to hell with the fans. To hell with the fans. They don't know. Like, Leonard is Floyd's mouthpiece, and Leonard comes after me, as y'all know, all the time. And I'm sure I've been told that Leonard's a fan of the show and views, but Leonard is Floyd's mouthpiece. They're one and the same. And Floyd's Al's mouthpiece. They are one and the same. It's all one and the same. They all move in unison, right? So what Floyd's telling him is, Ryan is just naive, right? He's just like, Floyd, I'm going to fight. You didn't hear? I'm going to fight Devin. I thought you just called me here to maybe give me instruction on Devin and give me instruction as a fighter. But Floyd's in his ear and he's saying, why would you fight Devin? Why would you do that? That seems hard. It seems like a hard thing to do. Why would you fight Devin? I promised the fans. We did a vote. You don't understand, Floyd. Like, I polled my fans. And they said they wanted to see me fight Devin. And Floyd basically tells him some things change. What he's basically telling him is, to hell with the fans. The fans? Why would you worry about the fans? They used to do that like 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, but I changed that. Don't you know? We don't feed our kids legacy, Ryan. We don't feed them legacy. And then Ryan, at the end, he tells you, as he's wiping his eyebrow with whatever that is, he's saying that basically just made sense, right? But what happens, and we all know what happens, Ryan comes out and says, things have changed. He takes, he's naive, right? And we said this at the time. We told Ryan this at the time. We all replied to Ryan in the comments. He said, some things changed. I've instructed my team to move away from Devin Haney and then go fight Raleigh. We want to fight Raleigh. Go make the fight, right? And we all said, Ryan, stop listening to Floyd. Stop listening to Floyd. He does not have your best interests at heart. Why would he pick you, of all people? Why would he pick you to go on a 3 a.m. jog with? Why? Why you? Just think about this for a second, Ryan. Why you? Why you? And Ryan starts lashing out at his own fans at that point. And this is what I'm talking about. Ryan was right the first time. He was right the first time. He should have trusted his instincts. We talked about this with Canelo, right? Canelo was the opposite 10, 12 years ago. He was making the opposite decisions of the way the world was starting to go. And it's why he won. It's why he's winning. He's reaping the rewards of that with compound interest right now. He has extra forgiveness from people because of decisions he made in the past, right? And what decisions did he make? And I talked about some of them yesterday. Floyd tells Canelo, much like he's trying to tell Ryan right now, you're going to do this. You're going to do this. You're going to fight Austin Trout on my undercard, and we're going to give you a lot of money to do it, Canelo. So just listen to us. And Canelo, with his good instincts, said, what's my assurances? I'll fight Austin. I'm not afraid of anybody, and I'll fight him for that money. That's fine. But what assurance are you giving me? Because I want to fight you. I don't really want to fight Austin Trout. I want to fight you. So Floyd says, there are no assurances. Canelo, I don't know who you think you are and what you're dealing with here, but I don't give assurances. I'm Floyd Mayweather. So Canelo told him, go ahead, go to hell. Go to hell. They said, oh, I guess it's not Austin Trout now, but Canelo says, I'm still going to fight Austin Trout for half the money. Roberto Diaz tells me on D-Style's show that Canelo kept not listening to the advice of the people around him. We tried to advise him against certain fights because we didn't like those fights for him from a matchmaking standpoint. Canelo still fought the fights. Built different. And he reaped the rewards of making those decisions. He listened to his fans. Crazy concept. It's crazy. I know. He listened to his fans. And he was rewarded for it. Even in a loss. He listened to his fans. Ryan started off the right way. Ryan took a poll. Ryan said, y'all want to see me fight the fights? This is the dude. All right, I'll go fight him. It's fine. Then somebody comes. It's like the devil on his shoulder, right? Somebody comes and says, you shouldn't fight Devin. It's too hard. It's too hard. We don't do that anymore. We don't fight. We don't feed our kids' legacy. We don't feed our kids' legacy, Ryan. You got to go get that easy bag. That bag's hard. You got to get the easy bag, bro. Go fight Raleigh. Fight him. Devin, go fight. You can always fight Devin. Go fight Raleigh. What happens? He got played. Floyd then orchestrates, as we're telling Ryan, don't listen to him. Don't listen to Floyd. It's the last thing you should be doing. Don't listen to Floyd. Tank is making that mistake. Do not listen to Floyd. Don't. He's going to stunt your growth as a fighter. He's going to stunt your growth economically. It may look good on the front end, but it's bad on the back end. Go ask the PBC fighters. Go ask them. It looks good on the front end, but it's terrible on the back end. Terrible. Everything that looks easy on the front end is terrible on the back end for you. Terrible. Pause. And then what happens? We start to tell him this stuff, what he needs to hear, and then he lashes out against the people he should be listening to and listens to the person that he needs to be tuning out and starts lashing out at his fans. Stop disrespecting Floyd. He's trying to help me. He's trying to help me. And now, as you see in this clip, he knows he's been played. He knows he's been played. He thought that fight was on the 1 yard line. And then they come out and announce against Raleigh. And at that moment, he realizes he's been played. And instead of coming out and being honest and saying, I should have listened to the same people that I should have been listening to this whole time. Got two different camps. I got the people telling me what I want to hear and advising me into bad decisions. I got the people over here and Oscar and Bernard and this team over here. And my trainers like Goosen, my trainers like Reynoso. I should be listening to them, but I'm not. And I'm going to blame them publicly for my bad decision making. And now he says, look, I guess we got to go back to Devin. And Devin and his team are waiting, and they're welcoming him with open arms. Because why? They're going to say, Bill Haney, if I know Bill Haney, he's going to say, today's price is not yesterday's price, Ryan. It's not. You made a bad decision. I know why you're coming crawling back. Come off of some money. We'll make the fight, but you're going to come off of some money. Loses leverage in the process. Listens to someone he should not be listening to. Lashes out at people who are trying to help him and tell him the right things to do in his boxing fan and his fans. Just good-natured fans who just want to see good fights. Lashes out at them, and look at where it's got him. That's where we want to like Ryan. We want to like all of these fighters. There's no reason not to. Somebody told me earlier that they don't want to like Ryan because he looks like Shawn Mendes. I think that's the minority. I think we would like anybody no matter what they look like, what part of the world they come from. All you got to do is fight the fights. Nando Yamas, $4.99 Super Chat. Saludos, Calix, Boxing Homies. Appreciate you always. Always. Much love. So I put out these polls. I want to get y'all's opinion on this. On X or Twitter. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Let me know if y'all can see this. So the first poll says, should Tank fight black fighters like Canelo? Feel free to leave comments below to support your answer. I'd vote yes here. So make sure to leave your comment in the comment section. Should Tank fight black fighters like Canelo? The second question, it kind of ties into what we're talking about. If Ryan Garcia fights Devin Haney in April, should he then be accepted as La Raza? Feel free to leave comments about why you came to your conclusion. And I want you to leave comments in the comment section about that as well. Because I know we got La Raza represented here. I'm more focused on this one right now because I want to leave the Canelo stuff to rest because we don't know if that reporting is true, number one. And we'll have plenty of time to talk about that. The only thing I would offer, the only suggestion I would offer today is if you're David Benavidez and this reporting is true, and you're not going to get the Canelo fight in 2024, there's a 3-point plan, and your rabid fan base, your fanatical part of your fan base is not going to agree with this plan, but they should. And once again, you need to be listening to the people who are trying to help you in your career. And they're going to tell you things like, don't listen to those people over there because they've been hating on you, all this stuff. But I need you to pay attention to this. There are 3 things that Benavidez can do if this news is true that would help his career drastically and would be a good outreach program. Number 1 is campaign. Like, do your campaign. That's right. Like, if Canelo's not going to fight you in 2024, then run your campaign against Canelo. That's fine. It's fine. Like, say things like he's ducking the Mexican monster. He's ducking the Mexican monster smoke. He doesn't want to fight me. They're already doing that anyway. So continue with that. That's fine. That's fine. The second thing you should be doing, though, is putting that to actual use and politic the people who are in charge of such things. Politic your advisor, Al Heyman, number 1, because he's also, you're all under the same umbrella. So politic to him. Also, you want to politic to Samson, and also you want to politic to the WBC and say, hey, look, there's weight class business to be had here. And you said this was up in March. So look, if he's not going to fight the fight, he needs to get different advice than Boots got, than Virgil got, than Stanionis got. Remember the advice that these guys were given? And this was coming from dudes that I like too. Content creators that I like and I agree with on some stuff, but they were dead wrong here. They were telling these dudes to take it easy. If Bud and Errol aren't going to fight each other, take it easy. Just hold your position, take some easy step aside money, take some easy fights for a lot of money, and just hold your position until movement is done at the top. And that's terrible advice. Terrible advice. Awful advice. And once again, it goes back to our low standards of American boxers. And it goes back to what I said. It's the microcosm of American society today. Each generation continues to get softer. Each generation, the standards lower further and further and further. And we wonder why we got kids 8, 9 years old in class pretending to be cats and calling themselves furries. We wonder why we got a dude who doesn't agree with something the sanctioning body does, or maybe his promoter is doing on the back end, and lashes out and retires on Twitter on a random Monday night. That's where we're at. So Benavidez needs to go in the opposite direction of the way the world is going, much like Canelo did circa 2012. Stop listening to these dudes over here. Because the dudes are going to be in Benavidez's ear. If Canelo is not going to fight the fights, if Canelo is going to wait, bully, then you should too. You should go fight Jesse Hart. Go fight Jesse Hart. Take it easy. David, take it easy. Just take it easy. Just take it easy. If Canelo's not going to fight the fights, the fight. That's terrible advice. Run your campaign. That's fine. Politic the WBC and say, look, man, if he's not going to fight the fights, have me fight him, Billy. He's number one, or he's number two, I'm number one. Let's put this belt in a vacuum and let us fight for the belt, right? And if they're not going to do that, we will echo that sentiment. We will, along with him and his team, say Benavidez should be fighting for that belt and Canelo needs to come off of it. We'll help him. But first, they need to do it. I'm not going to expend more energy than these dudes. I'm not going to fight for the right of Boots and Virgil and Stanionis while these dudes are sitting around and taking step-aside money. I'm not going to expend more energy than you. So this is the most important part, is that third point. You got to fight the fights. Run your anti-Canelo campaign, whatever you want to do, and we'll call out Canelo for not fighting family business within the Mexican heritage in 168. We'll do all that. We got time to do that. We got time to call all of that out if this reporting is true. But what Benavidez needs to do is stop listening to his fan base and say, you need to fight the fights. You can't make this all about Canelo. You got a golden opportunity here. All these fights are makeable because we pointed out nobody in the world, there isn't a single fighter in the world that is openly ducking David Benavidez. And they can run this campaign now against Canelo that he is. It's fine. Perception is everything. But what I'm saying is, unlike Bud Crawford at 147 when he was boxed out, Benavidez has access to many names at 168. Many names. You know what would be a power move from Benavidez and Munguia is if they make a fight in May in Phoenix and fight each other. Take care of family business, Mexico versus Mexico. It's top 5 weight class fight, weight class business. It'd be a great statement, right? Let's see if they do it. Let's see if Benavidez fights and Billy, Morrell Jr., Munguia. Let's see if he fights these fights. Or is he going to take his ball, go whining, and go fight Jesse Hart? These are the decisions that make or break fighters, fellas. This is it. What happens when something bad happens to you? How do you react to it? That's what makes people. That's what makes or breaks people right there. He's obviously not getting his way with Canelo. Run your campaign. Politic the WBC. Politic Al Heyman. But at the same time, you need to do that third part. The third part is the most important. You can do that with or without the belts, fight the fights, and then you'll have new people showing up in your tent that you would have never thought would show up in your tent. I'm telling you, don't listen to your fan base. That would happen. And all these fights are winnable for you. That's the beautiful thing. But your fan base is going to tell you, I know the French fan base. I'm an observer of people. I know this. I just sit back and observe. Wake up with my coffee in the morning. I go back by my bird bath, bird feeder, and I just observe the birds, right? It's a cardinal, it's a blue jay, it's an eastern bluebird, it's a woodpecker. And then I go out into the world and I do the same thing with people. I just sit back, I don't say anything, and I just observe. My wife is shocked when she sees me on this show because I don't talk. I'm an introvert. When I get on here, I download all the thoughts. Boxing gets me going. That's why I love it. But I observe the Benavidez fan base, the fringe part of the fan base, and they're just constantly whining. Constantly whining. And that's fine. You run your campaign. That's an important part. Politics is an important part, but you got to do action too. And Benavidez has started to do that. That's good, but you got to continue to do it. There's a lot of work to do to make up for the first 8 years, first 7 years. There's a lot of work to do. These fighters have a lot of work to do. Benavidez is one of them. He's one of them. Don't listen to your fan base because they're going to be in your ear. They're going to tell you, you shouldn't fight him, Billy. You shouldn't fight Morrell Jr. Morrell Jr. is too, it's too much of a risk. If Canelo's going to take it easy, you take it easy too. And what I'm saying is block out the noise. Stop doing what Ryan's doing and Shakur's doing. They got all kind of people in their ear, all kind of noise. And they're worried about the noise. They think they're entitled to things. And you might think you're entitled to things because your rabid fan base is telling you that you're entitled to things that you're not entitled to. Block them out, put your head down, go to work. That would be my advice. That's the third point. That's the third part of that blueprint. You got to do it. You got to do it. But back to King Ryan Garcia. If he fights Devin Haney in April, should he then be accepted as La Raza? Feel free to leave comments about why you came to your conclusion. So I want y'all to notice what I did. I weeded out Latinx here. Latinx is weeded out. I know Latinx because I'm Latinx. I got Honduran in me. I got Cuban in me, all that stuff. But look at me. I'm Latinx. I'm not La Raza. But once again, I'm an observer of people. I think I know La Raza because I go to Canelo fights. I go to all these fights. And I talk to La Raza. I talk to their fan base. And I know at a certain point, these dudes did not accept Oscar. They did not accept Canelo. And it came to a certain point where they had to accept these fighters. They had to. And they may even to this day lie about not accepting these fighters, but they had to accept these fighters. Why? It's not because these fighters were super talented, and they were. And they're much more talented than Ryan Garcia. Much, 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 much more talented than Ryan Garcia will ever be. Unfortunately for Ryan Garcia. He'll never get to the point that those guys got to. He'll never be remotely talented as those two guys. Never will be. And that's due to a lot of things. But what I know about La Raza, and me and D-Style are going to talk about this on this channel tonight, I do believe, anyway, if I know D-Style, because I know certain things push his buttons, and I know Tim Bradley and Paulie Malignaggi were talking about the Mexican fan base and what they think the Mexican fan base is and what they think they like. And what I know about people is they have a misconception about the Mexican fan base. The Mexican fan base in America, Mexican-American fan base carries this sport in America. Carries it. And I hate to see us take that base for granted because you need to keep that base. If you don't keep that base, American boxing, we say boxing will never die. If you lose the Mexican-American fan base, you are dead. Dead. Gone. Evaporated, extinct. You need to keep that fan base, and you should not be, even if it's not going to hurt you, you should not be taking that fan base for granted. I see it, and I've actually had discussions and debates with D-Style about this because I don't think you should be taking this base for granted at all, not even an inch, not even for a second. And I've seen Dana move in. Dana's like, I'm going to, get the Sphere in September. I'm going to put on the greatest Mexican Independence Day combat sports card of all time. And I see this and I say, y'all need to stop this dude. Y'all need to stop this dude in his tracks. He's making his move. And D-Style's like, don't worry. It's below us. Don't worry about that. They'll never go there. You can't take that for granted. You cannot take the Mexican fan base for granted. It's the greatest fan base, I think, in all of sports, not just boxing, in all of sports. Most passionate fan base, intelligent fan base, and that's the part that bothers me right there. Is when I hear people talk, they act like the Mexican and Mexican-American fan base are a bunch of cavemen collectively, and it's not True. It bothers the hell out of me. Bothers the hell out of me. Yes, Hawker, they lost the European American fan base. Let's call it what it is. The white fan base. They exited the building. Gone. And you can see that in the weight classes reflected. There are no white American fighters besides Caleb Plant in top 10 in any weight class. You need to keep this Mexican American fan base. You have to keep it. And you can't take it for granted. And you definitely cannot disrespect that fan base by saying some of the stuff that's being said out there. These are not cavemen. They do not like a caveman style of fighting. It is not wrong. There's a psyop going on, and I need y'all to recognize this. There's a brainwashing campaign going on from power brokers, and the fighters have bought into it, and now you have American fight fans buying into it that being hit is stupid. Of course, it's about not getting hit and hitting, but you can't get hit. If you get hit, you're dumb. And if you like fighters that get hit, you're also dumb. And that's wrong. These dudes are nerds and they're pretending to like things that they don't actually like. I'm telling you. They don't like this stuff. They don't like what Shakur did against De Los Santos. They didn't like some of the things that Rigo was doing. They didn't like a lot of the Floyd Mayweather fights, but they're pretending to like low risk, high reward, not only in the type of fights that fighters take, but what they're doing when they actually get in the ring. They're pretending to like that, but they don't. We're all here for entertainment, but what I appreciate about the Mexican-American fan base is they like entertainment, but they like intellectual fighters too. It's not a monolith. It's not a monolith. They appreciate great fighters. They appreciate great fights, but you also need to give them entertainment. That's a key component of this. We're all here for entertainment. And you got dudes out here pretending that we're not. Marquez, Pereira, Morales, Gallo, Canelo. They're all guys who stayed in the pocket, fought, but they're all intelligent fighters. Highly intelligent fighters. And they all captivated and captured that fan base. That shows you right there. We also like William Zepeda, Virgil Ortiz, Jaime Munguia, but even there's a method to those guys' madness. And you saw it with Munguia on Saturday night. This isn't a monolith, caveman, dumb, low IQ fan base. It's not. We need to stop disrespecting this fan base. And the reason I asked this question is Ryan Garcia La Raza. And back to what I was saying. Notice there that I got yes, C, no, no. Why did I do that? I want to weed out Latinx because Latinx will put yes instead of C. That's what I would do, right? And I even I quote tweeted, I would have voted no, but I would have voted for the first no. I would have voted for option 3 because what I know is La Raza is also intelligent. They have reading comprehension. So they see yes, they see C, they see no, and they see no. And they know that the first no is correlated to the yes. And the second no is correlated to the C. So we can weed out Latinx, right? We weeded out Latinx. 18.3, we throw it out. 36.6, we throw it out. And what we have is almost split. Second no, 23.7. C, 21.5. La Raza's smart. And what La Raza is telling you, and I think my poll is scientific because I think I got a good bit of Mexican and Mexican-American fans. And what they're telling you is we're open. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. A lot of work to do. Not yet. But it's close. Like we're open to it. At least we're open to accepting this guy. He looks like Shawn Mendes. He's a cornball. Let's be honest about this. He's a cornball. You see the video, right? He's rubbing his eyebrows with something. I don't know what that is. Looks like a roller of some sort. It's weird. Like he's a cornball. And definite cornball tendencies, but we, there may be something to work with if he fights the fights. And that's the thing. That's what I know about La Raza is you got to fight the fights. And they're open to accepting, and some may lie about this, right? I know this because when having conversations with these dudes over the years, when I go to Canelo fights, I've been to a lot of Canelo fights, and I know some of these dudes, and some of these dudes are a little too alpha to admit to me in my conversations with them that they liked Canelo. But over the years, they came to appreciate and love, even if they're not openly cheering for him, respect Canelo. Same thing with Oscar. We had that great showdown with Oscar and Chavez, first fight, second fight, and Oscar beat Chavez. And then Oscar at that point thought he was going to get the love and adulation of La Raza, and he didn't. He was taken aback at the time. I remember this. Why aren't these people accepting me? I'm fighting the fights. You know, dude, you beat down their hero. I have the Sports Illustrated episode. I have the Sports Illustrated magazine. That magazine, still in my closet, of Chavez just bloodied from Oscar. He's just bloodied. He's bloodied from Oscar. And Oscar, you need to realize you beat down their hero. It's going to take time, bro, but just keep doing what you're doing. And he did. And eventually he got the love, the respect, the adulation. They may not have cheered for him openly, but the respect was there. Respect was there. And it's because it's not a monolith. It's not a monolith. They like different styles. I saw a dude breaking down a fighter, I forget who it was last night, old school fighter, and he was saying he had the prototypical Mexican style. There's no, look, different styles, different variations of fighters and personalities. It's not a monolith, but one thing they respect is fighters who fight the fights. High intelligent fighters who will stay in the pocket, who will trade, who will counter, but want to get guys out of there. I mean, just look at that. Look at Canelo, look at Gallo, look at Morales, look at Barrera, look at Marquez. They all had that. But they're all highly intelligent. They're not cavemen. And this is not a caveman fan base. And this is something we're going to talk about as time goes on. I believe the first poll question was, should Tank fight black fighters like Canelo? And unfortunately, 12.8% of people say, out of 47 people say, no, he should keep fighting beaners. And that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But what I like to see from Canelo and Tank, and once again, could be false reporting, and we'll see. We'll see. And I like Canelo versus Bud. I like Canelo versus Benavidez more. We'll get into that. All this stuff. We have plenty of time to talk about that. But the reason I put the poll question up there, and I'll run a different poll tomorrow, should Canelo fight brown fighters like Tank? I'll put that one up tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. But I think there needs to be a role reversal there. My opinion is I think Canelo in this case should be fighting the brown fighters. I think Tank should fight the black American fighters because both of them within their weight class have that going on, and there's family business that needs to be taken care of. And yesterday, I don't think I adequately, concisely enough explained that. And I was wondering as the day went on yesterday, like, why did that reporting bother me yesterday in a way? Once again, I don't hate that if that's the direction we go in, but there's something that does bother me about it is, shout out to Jerry Cesaris, probably butchering his last name, boxing manager, but and I'm paraphrasing, I forget exactly what he put, but he put a comment under one of my tweets yesterday and said, something to the effect of Mexico versus Mexico is always bigger. He kind of, I think, disagreed with what I said. Canelo versus Bud is likely bigger than Canelo versus Benavidez. One thing I know is there are now elephants in the room at 168. Benavidez is there, Munguia is there, and they're making statements. So I think family business needs to be taken care of at 168. And I think family business needs to be taken care of at 135, 140 for Tank. And I think there needs to be a little bit of a role reversal with those two guys as far as the complexion of fighters that they're choosing to fight at this current time. And this is going to get me in trouble. I already know, but so be it. We'll talk about what needs to be talked about here. We're not going to tell people what they want to hear, but what they need to hear. And that's it. But that's it. We're out today. Dean Styles channel, 7 o'clock tonight. Peace. God bless.